Welcome back. This is the second episode of the Supra build. Today I really want to get it off the subframe. It's actually the same day as the last episode. I just had to go do some other stuff and then apparently I had time. So you can see the cover is still a little wet. It is a few hours after I did all the other stuff. So the first thing I want to do is remove the oil cooler because this car is running a relocation kit and I won't be running that. So I'm just gonna do an oil sandwich and then run it to an oil cooler. So the first thing I want to do is take off the oil cooler and hopefully get a good look at the oil to see if there's any wear and the engine. I hope not. And then afterwards get the engine lifted up and put on a stand. I'm very tempted to take off the turbos today because I've heard they are an absolute nightmare. But I'm not gonna do that today. So we're gonna wait until we have all the parts to do the single turbo kit. What I do want to do today is take off the diff and the axles from the subframe. So I can post this for sale because I already have, I think, 4 subframes right now. So won't be needing that. And maybe selling the front subframe as well because I have 2 of those. I only need the steering rack from this one. So yep. A lot of stuff to do. Let's get it. Okay, so what I like to do whenever I buy a new engine or I am changing the oil on one of the race cars, I always like to get a sample to inspect. I'm not going to be cutting out the oil filter this time, but I do want to inspect the oil to see if there's any bearing material or anything like that. It is looking pretty black so far. So we're gonna let that drain for a little bit. And now we're gonna put on the oil caps just so we don't have oil everywhere when we lift the engine. And because I need an excuse to use them because I bought too many. So those are in now and we're gonna go look at the oil while the oil filter drains. So what we are looking for here is to see if there's any bearing remains or anything there shouldn't be. So what you want to do is kind of drag it on the wall of the cup to see if there's any glitter or anything. There's some air bubbles, but that's fine. It doesn't look bad. It's been a while since you had the oil changed, but there's no bearing or any material. So that's a good sign. We're happy about that. So I don't know about you guys, but I think it's a really nice feeling to remove like really old and bad oil because you know how much better new oil is for the car. Now that the oil cooler is off, we're gonna take the engine mounts now. And I'm hoping it won't be too tight. It wasn't bad. Same goes for this side. I feel like that wasn't really tight. So I think it's ready to get lifted now. I just took off the power steering lines and some other brackets and stuff that was held down to the subframe. So we're gonna try and lift it now and hopefully get it on the engine stand. So this is not the greatest way to lift out an engine because now it's kind of tucking it back, so it's probably going to be a little annoying to get it off the engine mounts, but we're going to try anyway. So this is going to be exciting. This is the moment of truth. I'm going to see if it's going to hold up because I've never had an engine this heavy on the stand before, but yeah, we're going to find out in a second. Good thing we're not going to use these engine mounts because they are completely shot. That wouldn't have been nice. So the engine's on the stand now, which is perfect. So we're going to continue with the diff and the axles and get that off hopefully pretty easy. So I got the bolts off now. They kind of sucked, so I had to use the real big impact, but that's fine. So we're gonna do the last two diff bolts. I already did the top ones, and we're gonna take out the diff. I'm hoping the axles will let go pretty easily, but I'm not expecting too much. All you need to do to get the axles out is take out this pin, which looks like an anchor when it's, yeah. Anyways, so you need to take these down, pop it up, take off the protection, and then take the nut in the middle. Nice. That was really easy. So the mission today is going to make the diff look somewhat nice. So I have it here, and you can see it looks kind of disgusting, to be honest. So the plan today is going to be painting the case and trying to make this look nice again. I haven't done anything like this before, so it's going to be interesting how it turns out. So we're going to start off by trying to make this look nice. I have some polish. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I bought some different stuff, like some wire wheels and some different stuff. So I'm kind of excited to see how it turns out. So that was the first step with the wire wheel. It turned out okay. I'm pretty happy with it so far. But now it's the tricky part. It's getting into these small corners and small stuff like that. But all I think it turned out very well. So now it's the small stuff and then polish. So just finished up now with the wire brush and the handheld one, because there were some tricky parts to get into. So it's finished now, looks pretty good. I'm not gonna do more about it because it's just a diff, so it's whatever. So now we're gonna use the polish. This one I just hit the diff with a brake cleaner, and now we're gonna try and polish it. So let's see. So just did a quick masking job. I'm just gonna hit it with a black paint. I'm not very good at painting, and I'm not very good at masking off, so it's gonna be kind of difficult. So I'm just gonna use, you know, like a cheap black paint. So it's not gonna be perfect, but that's not really what I'm aiming for with this car. So now that the diff is drying up, I'm gonna go and start prepping the axles, because they kind of look rusty and crusty and not very nice. So I'm gonna hit this with the wire brush, and we're gonna clean up this part, and then we're gonna give them a wash before we paint them. Just got done cleaning the axles now. I'm absolutely covered in filth, so that's nice. I'm just gonna give these a quick run through, and we're gonna mask everything off on the axles, and then we're gonna paint it. So I just turned around the diff and gave it the other side, and now the axles just got hit with some greaser. And now I'm just gonna try and freestyle the paint job on them, because yeah, it doesn't really matter that much because these axles are probably gonna snap at some point. So I'm not a painter by a long shot, but I think this turned out pretty good actually. And now it's the most satisfying part, getting all of the masking tape off. I'm pretty happy with that. Look at this, dude. These almost look brand new, except of course the spline, but that's whatever. Hey, that was a pretty successful job. Cost me basically nothing to make it nice again. A few hours of my time, but that's pretty much it. Because I'm going to Germany tomorrow morning with a few friends, so I'm gonna be away for a few days, and then we're gonna get back at it once I come back.